Yo, 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 welcome back to NSA Bulls podcast. We're back. It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot's been going on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, obviously, our Chicago Bulls are no longer in, they didn't make the playoffs, so the last time we shot an episode, we was hoping that they would get in the play-in and, rock it out and get to the playoffs. But we want to talk about these NBA playoffs. It's been a lot of drama. Good drama is really good for the fans, really good for basketball fans worldwide, what we've been witnessing. First and foremost, last night, 3 games that were really, really good games. Let's start off with that pivotal Game 5 Golden State Sacramento game. Warriors won the game, as everybody's well aware of at this point. Sacramento gave it all. They gave it all. De'Aaron Fox didn't look like he had an issue with his shooting hand, which is good to see.
He broke his finger.
Yeah, they say he had a fracture. But I'm just glad that he played. I'm glad that he didn't look like he was hindered by it, because you just don't want to see top players, especially the way he's been playing, not playing against a team like this. And, and then if they go on and beat Sacramento, it's like, De'Aaron Fox wasn't playing, and it just kind of hinders the series a little bit, much like the Kawhi situation with the Clippers. But yeah, so it was an amazing game with that and how that manifested. Draymond Green, though, man, let's talk about it, bro. Draymond Green had a game he hasn't had in about 4 years. He put up 21-7 in the game. I mean, it's not like super ridiculous stat line, but he hasn't been a scorer in a long time for this team. Yeah. I mean, he's primarily not a scorer, but he took advantage of the opportunities he was given. Obviously, the shooters in Klay Thompson and Curry was getting a lot of attention, and he just took advantage of the driving lanes and ones. He was getting a lot of those, and he hit a few open jump shots too. And then Andrew Wiggins balled out. He getting back into his mode. I mean, he's been playing well for the series, but last night he put up a dub as well too. And Klay Thompson was Klay Thompson last night with Curry being Curry. So you know how that go. But man, they pulled it out. Do you think the series is over with the Kings and the Warriors? Do you think that the Warriors are going to wrap it up? Because they do play tomorrow. The time this podcast is shot, they do play Game 6 back in the Golden State, back in San Francisco. So what do you think?
I mean, it's not over. It's 2 games left. The chances of them winning, it's probably not high, but it's not over though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with. I get your point of view on that, but I'm gonna lean more towards over. I just feel like Golden State has taken Sacramento to the deep waters, and I just feel like championship teams, you gotta kill them. If you have the opportunity to kill them, you got to go for it. And I feel like Sacramento had that opportunity in that Game 3 when Draymond got suspended. They had a 2-0 series lead. That would have been the perfect opportunity to, take advantage of the moment at that point. But, that particular Game 3, the Golden State Warriors played like it was a Game 7. They didn't shoot really too well in that game, but they got a lot of offensive rebounds. And Kevin Looney, he put up over 20 rebounds in that game. And he did it again in Game 5. They got a lot of key pieces that just know how to play at the right moment. They give them a little extra effort to get the W. And that's the difference between good teams and great teams, just having an extra effort. We've seen it a lot. When you talk about previous championship winning teams and the Spurs, the Lakers, these are teams that won multiple championships in the time that we've been watching playoff basketball. So I'm not really fazed by, or I'm not really, I should say, surprised by what the Golden State Warriors have been able to do in these last 3 games, but Sacramento is a new experience for them. And I do believe the series is probably more likely over. I feel like it's still going to be a great game in Game 6. But I see Golden State closing it out and going to that second round and seeing who the winner of the Lakers and Memphis series is going to be. So, De'Aaron Fox, he's put the world on notice.
Yeah, he has.
Boy's been balling.
He's been balling.
I think he's averaging, I could be wrong on these stats. I think he's averaging like about 30 for the series, maybe a little over 30. He had 24 last night. That might have been the lowest scoring output he's put for the series. So you could probably attested to like the a little bit of that fracture you get on that finger or whatever. But man, I'm just happy for him. I'm very happy for him because Sacramento in the last 15 years. I mean, he's been playing for this team since he's been drafted, but they don't get the recognition. They don't get the TV slots. They don't get the time. And I think a lot is going to change going into the next season. Whatever happens for Sacramento this season, just the fact that, people are going to want to see these games now and want to see them play. They're going to want to see their, pace of play, which is very exciting to watch. You're just seeing two teams collide with their pace of play being so fast. They get up the court real quick. Like you get a basket and you jogging up the court. I'm noticing players are jogging the court, and one of the guys from Sacramento would already be at the rim while you trying to get back on defense. So they pace of play. They don't drain the clock out. They pretty much are trying to get the most attempts up. And that's an old D'Antoni philosophy I noticed. In terms of just getting more shots. I get more shots to the rim, more than likely I'm gonna win. So that's kind of like how they going about it. But these teams are very, very appealing to watch for all basketball fans. But I feel like Sacramento will be back in this situation next year. I just hope that they don't do what small market teams typically do and ruin a chemistry by not signing this guy back or not, giving this guy an extension, stuff like that. And then a Malik Monk or something like that. I don't know when his contract is up, but a guy like that end up in Indiana or something like that, which is clearly a complimentary piece to De'Aaron Fox. So I just don't want to see stuff like that. You want to see these teams build and build and build, and that's how they're going to be formidable for years to come. So,
yeah, it's been exciting for them, for everything just to come together the way it has come together. Even with the phrase "light the beam," and the owners really excited about the team and really into the games. It's just good to see. Sacramento, they probably have like a youthful type crowd energy, so that fast pace really just caters to that type of fan base. Is exciting. So I'm happy. I'm happy to see it. It's exciting basketball. And De'Aaron Fox, man, he's playing with a broken finger and probably other things, because a lot of these players are injured during this time. But he's playing through it, playing amazing, putting up these crazy numbers. So, and it's with his shooting hand too, like a broken finger with his shooting hand. So that just says a lot of how resilient that guy really is. So shout out to him. I mean, I'm not really sure. I don't watch all the games with Sacramento, so I know they have a couple guys that all chip in collectively. But he's of course, the front runner. They don't really have that many names though that really grab your attention. Of course, Monk, he puts up crazy numbers sometimes, and they're friends, so that kind of helps him, just be known. And then Sabonis. So they have 3 guys that you know of, and then everybody else is so
yeah, absolutely. So they got some guys. I mean, they got some guys that have played pretty well on other teams like Atlanta. For one, Kevin Huerter, right? Okay. He didn't play too well last game. I feel like he could have been a good X factor. He's a really good 3-point shooter. Typically, when he goes on a team, he's really good at spacing. He did not play too well. He had 9 points last night. That could have been a difference maker in him playing well. And Harrison Barnes, I mean, he's seeing his former team in Golden State. And, it might bring back a different feeling for him. He obviously want to beat Golden State, clearly, but he's not making the necessary shots that can put them in a position of 3-1 when they were, obviously had a chance to hit the game, win a shot. Or even up yesterday, 3-2. He didn't play too well. He had a moment in the game where he was getting to the foul line a lot, trying to draw some contact, and that was working for him. But in terms of just a field goal percentage, it's pretty low. So he's not knocking down those shots. They actually are playing a little bit off of him, because they're going by the percentages is what I've noticed. But Sabonis, he had a really good game. I was talking to my cousin, and he was telling me Draymond Green is punked Sabonis. It feels like Draymond Green's edginess always causes a factor on bigs, that are, formidable bigs like Kevin Love back, when he was younger, and now Sabonis right now. So Draymond Green has that X factor. Like, he'll do stuff that does not come on a stat sheet against a guy that, is more talented than him. Ultimately, like, leveling the playing field where, he could cause more of an impact on that team. I mean, on that team and on that player. But Malik Monk, he played pretty well. He had 21 last night, and yeah, I mean, they did enough, you would think, to win the game. But Golden State just went another level with it. They did enough to win the game to close out the quarter. They lost the fourth quarter 24-26, but it's that third quarter is what I noticed. And that's what I've noticed about watching Golden State Warriors playoff games. When they're trying to win that game, well, clearly every game they're trying to win, but they really make a difference in a shift of the game when the third quarter hits. That second half, they come out the halftime and they start going on these runs, to increase their lead or to get back in the game. Let's say they're down by 15 at half or something like that. Next thing you know, they only down by 4 because of the run they put down in the third quarter, which gives them a position when they go into the fourth quarter. So they really do a good job of proper placement on when to turn it up, which is what, obviously us being Bulls fans, these little nuances like this are major in a 48-minute game where you're not trying to put too much emphasis on just the fourth quarter. So when we talk about the Bulls, and I know we're going to circle back to that, the Bulls had a horrible tendency of waiting until that quarter, the fourth quarter, to try to come back from a deficit that they put themselves in for the first 3 quarters. And you have to overwork yourself to just get back into a game. So the Golden State Warriors, being championship personified, they just have this DNA where they say, look, third quarter, we're going to turn it up. Third quarter, we have to win that quarter. Third quarter is our quarter. Third quarter, we got to go off. Third quarter. And if you really look at it, they always make their mark in that third quarter. They always do it. Every championship that they won, that third quarter was the X factor for them. So that's what I've noticed watching them and watching them play.
It's just like, it says a lot about Mike Brown to have a team like this far into the season. What record they have? Like they're a third seed, right? Or second seed.
Second seed, yeah.
Gee, this team doesn't even have like anybody really. Like,
no, I'm sorry, they were third seed.
They don't really have like big name players. They just have guys that work well together, that being coached fantastically. Like this,
and Mike Brown is a phenomenal
shout out to
coach.
him, bro. Because if you had like any other coach, most likely they're gonna get wiped. They wouldn't even be in these nail-biting situations, these games.
He makes them believe. And then De'Aaron Fox, being the talent that he is, coupled with that and the coaching, this is why it's so hard to win, because you need so many of the right pieces.
Yeah.
You can have the right talent, but then if the coach is not up to par, you will lose. Decision making, knowing when to call a timeout, knowing when to challenge a play, like all of these things take the right proper decision making and IQ, which Mike Brown is phenomenal in doing, and he's been doing this for so long. I mean, this is his second Coach of the Year. He just got Coach of the Year, a couple weeks back. For the season, well deserved. If he didn't get it, my vote was Jock Vaughn for Brooklyn Nets, given what he's had to deal with. But Mike Brown, second Coach of the Year. He got Coach of the Year as well on those Cleveland Cavalier teams that was led by LeBron before on LeBron's first stint with Cleveland. When they went to the finals in 2007. In 2009, they had like a 61-21 record. So in that situation, he won Coach of the Year then. So him winning it again just shows and proves that he knows how to play. Coach. He knows how to coach, man.
He's a really good coach because, like, this team, man, I'm going to say it over and over again. Like, how? That's the question for me, how?
Well, here's the thing. They got shooters. It's just the fact that so he was an assistant coach under Steve Kerr. And I mean, clearly he had a resume before Curry was even a coach, right? But the thing is that the pace of play, all of that, is very, very reminiscent of like the early Golden State Warrior teams. And even now, they're just a little bit older now. That's what makes them so difficult to play. But yeah,
I mean, they probably have a bunch of guys that the casual NBA fan just don't really know about them.
Exactly.
But they're making a name for themselves right now.
Yep.
So we're probably going to know those guys like next couple of years for sure who they are because, they're cementing their legacy. So hopefully that's the case.
Yeah. And hopefully, like I said, with small market teams, they don't do anything silly like not sign a certain guy back. Because the thing is, I feel like when small market teams are finally getting some traction and going up, right, especially ones who have never won before, it's very important and very imperative that the GMs realize that this is a shot for us to be. Let's see how far we can go with this lineup. When you do little small, they'll never do a major change like let's get rid of De'Aaron Fox. They won't do that. But if they say, well, let's get rid of our backup point guard that we have. We don't want to sign him back. Well, we can get somebody else to fill up this void. Little stuff like that can really throw off how good your team could possibly be for the next couple of years. So it like my philosophy is you have to run it back with the exact same lineup you got. Whatever happens in this series, you got to run it back because you got to see how good they can possibly be. And you got to give them about a 3 to 4 year window. So you can add to it, but don't subtract from it. I know it sounds weird, like 15-man roster. How could you add and subtract? What I mean by that is there's probably somebody on the bench that, probably won't be there the next season or 2 seasons. I mean, that's how NBA teams work. But don't make critical changes where, a role player that was getting 22 minutes, I could look at their roster from head to toe. Somebody who's really playing well, like they backup point guard for their team. Let's take a look here. So Lyles is like their forward. But I'm looking here. They got a backup point guard. I can't recollect his name right now. Yeah, Davion Mitchell. So a guy like him, Davion Mitchell, you can't let him walk out the door. I don't know what his contract, I don't know the stipulations of it, but whatever it is, make sure you keep him happy. That's what I'm saying. You got to keep little pieces like that happy because they're major for the chemistry of your team in terms of like having a long shot. And this is what Golden State has done. Golden State has done damn near everything the right way. This is why they keep winning. You know what I'm saying? That's why they keep putting themselves in winning position. Because now that you know who your star is, you got to make sure that your star is getting the right like help around them, but also the right chemistry. Because injuries play a part in everything, as we're well aware of. So it's like what looks like a bright window could really be a closed window, like a very like short window. So my philosophy is just keep everybody and run it back. Whatever happens, whether y'all get out this first round or not, you got to go ahead and run that back. But
I'm not familiar with the Sacramento Kings, like I said, too well. But my advice would just be always just keep your main guys, your main core, and just kind of like let that take you to the top.
Yeah.
And like as far as Golden State, they always had their main guys, but subtracted guys, added guys to kind of fill those spots in along the way. So, and then you gotta have some luck too, because we can like praise Golden State for they've done a fantastic job, but it's like luck goes into consideration too. And if you just pray everything go well, and just keep it going.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the shocking elimination of the Milwaukee Bucks. Shocking. No one would have thought that they was going to get eliminated, let alone 5-game elimination. Who would have thought that? Now, granted, Giannis was out for about 3 of those.
Giannis is hurt,
but
he's hurt.
They were good enough to win those games even without Giannis.
I think the thing is he didn't even have a lift even for his free throws. I mean, he's known to be a bad free throw shooter, yes, but you could just tell like he wasn't. He's a fantastic, amazing player, and he's still going to shine. But he's hurt. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and then you going against professional basketball players. Yeah. If you got a little You 70% out of 100%. Shit, that 30% can cost you a series.
It can, but here's the thing, though. It's no excuses for Milwaukee. The reason why I say that is because it's not like they was going against, which is on paper, a more talented team than them. They were going against a team, even without Giannis, they have the edge. They have all-star talent in the players. And then Miami had injuries themselves. Miami had their second best scorer out for the series when he broke his hand, Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero goes out. Right. Victor Oladipo break his damn kneecap again.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They got a deep team, but you making good points though.
Yeah. So it's like, even when you add those pieces back in, and you take Giannis off Milwaukee, Milwaukee got 2 all-stars, 2 all defensive first or second team players for this year. Right. When Brook Lopez, and then their point guard, Drew Holiday. You know what I'm saying? So they got enough talent. Now, Giannis is definitely the X factor.
Yeah.
But for them to lose the way they lost, and then when Giannis came back, they had 2 double-digit leads on this team. And they lost both of those leads and eventually lost both of those games. And Jimmy Butler, man, I got to give the man the credit. I feel like he has played as the best player as of right now. I know I'm prisoner of the moment right now, but Jimmy Butler is the best player today, right now. There's no player who would have been able to pull off what he did with the least amount of help he's had. Fam is literally playing with 7 undrafted players. 7 the Miami Heat have the most undrafted players in the league right now. Most of their players they didn't even get from the draft. It's a 15-man rotation. Most people in the playoffs, most teams in the playoffs, they cut their rotation down to probably like 8 or 9 guys, possibly 10. So they're not even playing those other like 3 or 4 guys. They just there. They just sit on the bench, but they're not part of the playoff rotation, right? The fact is they got 7 undrafted players on their team, and Jimmy is carrying these guys. And this is where I gotta say something might shake up with Milwaukee because they weren't supposed to lose, and let alone lose like this. And the reality is, Jimmy goes for 56 points in a crazy game in Miami, right? Now, one double team. At some point, you got to double this man. He's the only one killing you like this. You double Jimmy, and I'm not trying to take away from Jimmy's performance. I'm actually giving him credit because he's so great in those moments, and he's proven that in the last like 3 or 4 years, from the bubble to like the following year and the year after that. Like, he's really made a name for himself, and they really have this moniker of playoff Jimmy now because, we criticize players for, having these stellar regular seasons and then they go into playoffs and they just lay goose eggs. We've always been in the motto, since our teenage years that we judge players by the playoffs. Damn what you do in the regular season. If you can't give me the same energy you do in the regular season in the playoffs, you ain't that guy. Jimmy don't even go through the regular season doing gaudy things. He don't go for 40 or 50. You don't hear about it. He get 20 points and 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Some good numbers, but they're not off the Richter scale stuff, right?
He's built for the moments.
Exactly. He do just enough for his team to get to the playoffs for him to show out, right? And that's what he do, right? And he's not afraid of the moment. But he get 56 points. Nobody on the team got 20, which is crazy. That's some Jordan stuff right there. You pull up a stat sheet of some playoff games Michael Jordan has had, and you're like, this man had 11 points. Scottie Pippen got 14. Jordan got 55. You like, you know what I mean? You like, this dude is killing you. You know what I mean? But I gotta give him credit. But I have to give criticism to Milwaukee Bucks coach though. And normally he's a good coach, right? But I felt like he did some decisions that I just didn't agree with. If I was a Bucks fan right now, I'd be livid because I'd be like, dude, you know who killed you in that game 4. Then the game 5 comes up and you still don't double. Jimmy went for 40. He went for 42 points last night. So he had back-to-back 40-plus games on you. Back-to-back 40-plus games. If he got 56 on you, you gotta go back to the drawing board and be like, all right, we in a must-win game. I gotta double team them, even if I don't want to double team them every possession. You know, I have to send a double when it's necessary, like the fourth quarter. I have to make somebody else beat me. I have to do it. I didn't see in all those highlights. I see not one double team.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what goes in your brain when a man dropped 56 points on you the night before. He dropped 56 on you, and the way he did it. You got to double, man, because a guy like him, he's the kind of guy, his confidence goes up higher and higher and higher and higher, and his team started getting pumped and energized. Like every shot he made, they believe. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to understand the pulse of the team that you're going against. And I mean, Jimmy is deserving of a double team. I mean, he's a great player. He's created that moniker for himself. You got to double. I mean, it's almost slightly disrespectful if you don't double this man at some point. Like, I got to send a double, man, because you just going to, like, you can't just rely on Drew Holiday. You got to be like, all right, bro, I got to go ahead and send this double because I can't let you, because you have another one of those nights again. And I can't afford. I see something on the line. I can't afford it. And Milwaukee was doing some really silly stuff down the stretch, bro. They had the game. They threw the ball away. Kyle Lowry got a hold of it. And then ultimately, shout out to Vincent for hitting that three, though, to get it within one. That was a crazy three. But then they throw the ball away, and then they call a jump ball when really it was a foul on Chris Middleton against Kyle Lowry. So it should have been Miami ball to begin with. But then ultimately on the inbound, they don't even try to like double Jimmy again. He throws over, he gets an incredible alley-oop, you saw the play, to tie the game and go into overtime. And then Bam Adebayo gets fouled out. And you thinking Giannis is going to go off. He don't go off. And just crazy situation, man. So Milwaukee fans are devastated right now. You know, and damn, Miami's going in the second round to see the New York Knicks, who just beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I didn't even know that series was going to end that shortly. I thought that series was going to go further than it did. You know,
it's crazy how things can turn out. And when things are good, things are good. But on the flip side, things can come crashing down all at one time. Like,
yep.
So, you know,
Giannis looked mad frustrated, which he has every right to be, you know, and it's crazy. This is why it's so important to take advantage of things while you can. So I'll give you an example. Sacramento didn't take advantage of the Draymond Green suspension. Miami took advantage of of Giannis being out of the game. Momentum matters. This is why it's so important to take advantage of your matchups or whatever hindrance that you see, right? So Miami took advantage of the fact that Giannis wasn't in the lineup for the first 3 games. They said, and they had it probably like, we could take these next 3 games. Obviously, they only got 2 out of that 3, but that's still better. You halfway there to winning the series, right? Yep. Whereas Sacramento didn't take advantage of Draymond not being in the lineup. I mean, that's a key part. He's not the best player on the team. So it's not the same equation like with Giannis, because Giannis is clearly their best player. But take advantage of what you can, because you just never know how it's going to turn out.
They tried, though.
I know. I know they tried.
They tried to take advantage. They just couldn't.
That's what I'm saying, man. It just, damn. Now, I didn't have much to say other than the Miami situation and what I just listed, but what's your take? Do you feel like Jimmy Butler is the best player in the league right now? Or am I just being a prisoner of the moment?
I'm gonna just say this, and it's not a shot, but you did just say Jimmy Butler was overrated.
I did.
This is like a couple days ago.
I was mad as hell.
And now you saying that he's the best player in the NBA.
Because I take that back. So I take it back. You know, it's funny. I actually said this to my cousin too. I said I did, because he didn't ask me what I said. I know what I said, and I'm glad you refreshed my brain on it. I did say that because I was so mad at the moment that the Bulls squandered, and I think my frustration just let me get the best of me at that point. But when a guy's doing this, he's earned it. Yeah. Like I mean, look at this roster. This roster has no business beating a number 1 seed. Like, this is crazy.
It's a good situation for Jimmy Butler because he's one of those special players that can do what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's not built. These moments are not made for everybody, and he's really taking advantage or trying to take it, because everybody's trying. He's trying his really hardest, and he's succeeding at these moments. And then also, we gotta give a lot of credit to Eric Spoelstra, because this is what he needs. He needs somebody like Jimmy Butler. It's like a perfect fit, so, and everything else can kind of fill in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, it's sensational, man. I mean, no one would have thought. Jimmy can get big games, but just to carry them the way he's been carrying them. You're looking at the box, Steve. You like 40. The next guy getting 13, 12. Oh, no. Like, that's a carry job. You're carrying these guys.
Offensively.
Yeah. Offense. I mean, I know the other guys doing everything else. Or, I mean, they all are pitching in, right? So I'm not saying that he's just going 1-on-5.
That's a great opportunity, because, like, for him, because he's that type of player. He likes that. It seems like he likes doing that. You know what I mean? Like on some Kobe shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in his mind, he's not talking mess or talking bad about his teammates for only having 13. He's just looking at it like, shit, I damn love this shit.
Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah.
So let's keep it going.
Yeah.
And then also, like, the Miami Heat culture is strong. Like, Eric Spoelstra, like, his coaching is fantastic. It's like it's those coaches in the NBA that you just know, like, man, no matter what their roster is gonna be, and Eric Spoelstra has a crazy amount of talent throughout his years, and he's still pretty young. So, and it seemed like the only reason, like back in the day, he kind of got like some slack because he had LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh, but like, he still was able to be a star himself, because outside of that, he's still Miami. He's always been a relevant basketball team, no matter what faces they have and they don't have. And that's just huge for him. So it's a perfect storm. It's always about timing for everything. It's bad timing for the Bucks. It's kind of bad timing recently for the Sacramento Kings. But it's great timing for the Miami Heat right now. And it's like you got Spoelstra, you got Jimmy Butler. They're going crazy.
Man.
Both of them going crazy.
And I just think Miami, general speaking, like, they don't fear the Bucks at all. Like, this is a team that eliminated the Bucks in 2020 in the bubble. They beat the Bucks in the bubble, and that was a shocker to a lot of people at that time, because Miami hadn't proven themselves yet, and the Bucks was always knocking on the door, winning a championship. Now, obviously, the following year from that, the Bucks redeemed themselves and won a championship, but they still didn't have to see Miami. So I think it's a kryptonite thing too. I think, it's almost like a boxer going against one boxer that just know how to fight them.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like they might not be good with everybody else, or might not be as successful with everybody else, but when they see you, they just know like how to beat you.
Yeah.
And it's just Miami just has that DNA with the Bucks.
Yeah.
Whoever's in the line, as long as they got Jimmy and they got some other guys like Bam, he pitches in.
Yeah.
And they just feel like they can beat or take Miami. But in general speaking, Miami's tough out, bro.
Yeah, tough.
They literally will make you work. They make you work, bro. Like, just the fact when Boston, that went to Game 7 last year. People remember that. Like, Miami was one game away from going to the finals last year. Jimmy Butler hits that 3. They going to the finals. He missed the 3 on the road. Boston goes to the finals and see Golden State. And that's crazy. That's crazy, man. I don't even believe Miami was a real number 8 seed, man. I feel like they just, because they was the number 1 seed last year going to the playoffs.
It's crazy.
They just dealt with some injuries, which made them lose a lot of games in the regular season. But they was basically like a wolf in sheep clothing.
Yeah,
that's really what they are. They are wolf in sheep clothing, bro. They masquerade as a team that's not good enough, and then they just punch you in the mouth in the playoffs, and that's what they do.
They got a lot of heart, a lot of fight.
Yeah, their team on a heart.
That's a smart team.
Yeah, that's a grit team too. That's what I talk about. I preach grit a lot because the Bulls lack that all regular season, but grit, like being able to say, "Look, bro, tonight's not the night we're losing. I cannot lose this game.
Grit.
I have to win this game. Like every game has to be treated like that." But Miami know how to turn it on.
Yep. Because
they've been to the finals before.
And it's also intelligent to like be even keel
Yep.
Like never be too hot, too low, and just play your heart out at all those moments when the moments happen.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about Memphis Grizzlies and the Lakers real quick, man. Lakers had an opportunity to end the series.
Yeah.
They lose game 5. It's now a 6-game series heading back to LA. Anthony Davis played exceptional. He had 30 and 20 or something like that. The stat line was pretty appealing. But Ja Morant and Desmond Bain just said not tonight, bro. They both went for 30 and 10. They both went for 30 and 10. Now, and I ain't talking about 10 assists from Ja. I'm talking about 10 rebounds. They got that type of production from them two. Who's been MIA this whole playoffs? It's been Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is not like a gaudy stat guy where he's gonna get you 25, but he has definitely talked too much for the production he's put out. And he has not put up. He looked like it's in his head at this point now because he's not hitting. He's missing a lot of open shots, getting a shot tossed by Anthony Davis. Missing key shots when a dime pass with Ja Morant would set him up with. He just missed a wide open 3. He missing a lot of shots. I think he's shooting like 20% from 3, bro. Like, fam is really like flustered. He's flustered right now. So they're not getting anything from him. If they got a little bit from him, it might go to 7 games. But they're not getting anything from him. And, the other guys are definitely stepping up, with Memphis, refusing to lose or get eliminated at home in Memphis. That pride kick in at some point. And I gotta give Ja Morant some credit here. He's taken a lot of criticism throughout the regular season with all the gun stuff. But he's done something that we got to give him credit for. He's played injured. Now, granted, there are players other than him that are playing injured, but you love to see these guys lay it on the line and not just mailing it in. And that is my shot at guys like Kawhi Leonard. I hate to say it. I mean, I've always felt like Kawhi Leonard is an exceptional talent, but if Kawhi Leonard had a hand injury, he would have sat out. He would have sat out like, I'm just being honest with you. Like, man, my hand, whatever. But Ja Morant, hand injury, whatever. He a little reckless at times. A lot reckless. He got to chill out a little bit. On his landing, I got to say that. But the man is balling. He was out half of game 1. Lakers go and pull out the victory. In game 2, he was gone. Came back for game 3, put up 45, 9, and 12. He put up a superstar stat line. They lose that game still. And then game 4, he put up a good stat line as well. But then last night, he put up a good stat line with over 30 with the 10 rebounds. But Desmond Bain shot pretty well. Just looking at they started, like Luke Kennard, he knocked down a couple threes for them. Tillman, I mean, these are guys that are just serviceable bigs. I mean, he put up 8 points and 6 rebounds. But when we look at the Lakers lineup here, Austin Reeves, he's definitely made a name for himself. The guy's balling out. D'Angelo Russell, he's been struggling a lot in the series. Hachimura, that's who I didn't see Rui Hachimura, nor did I see Austin Reeves having the kind of production that they've been having in the series. I didn't see that.
He was balling last year though.
Yeah, off of like Washington.
Nah, he was hooping.
Yeah,
he was hooping good last year.
Yeah, but when we say hooping, he was like. Yeah. That's why people were excited for him to come to the Lakers because they knew what he was doing. Right. Yeah. But the thing is, did you expect him to get 29 on the playoff games though? That's what I'm talking about.
I mean,
29. That's like damn.
I mean, that question. I feel like any guy in the NBA can give you 29. It's just will you? But yeah, I mean, you can't really be surprised that anybody in the NBA is doing it anymore. Like, it's just, will it happen?
That's true. I mean, the league got talent all over the place.
Yeah.
And guys can get hot, and guys can go off.
You can be an undrafted player and go crazy.
Yeah. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
That is a valid point. But yeah, Austin Reeves, his decision making off the pick and rolls, ability to draw fouls. He's been a really good spark for the Lakers. I don't know because I'm thinking Golden State gonna beat the Sacramento Kings at this point, and I think the Lakers are gonna beat Memphis, even though Memphis staged off elimination for last night. But these two series that is are gonna be continuing on Friday from that standpoint. But I just don't know if Austin Reeves can do this against Golden State. I don't know. I have to see it to believe it.
All right. So first, Dylan Brooks. The NBA is a grown man's league.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Life, and it ties into life.
Yeah.
Like a lot of sports ties into like life lessons.
Right.
You don't want to be chirping too much. You don't want to seem ignorant and then prove yourself that you are being ignorant.
Yeah.
So Dylan Brooks is like, bro, you made it to the NBA, fantastic. Why would you do that? Why would you? Especially if you not built like that, because maybe you're not built like that. Because that's what it's seeming, Ja Morant, on the other hand, he was chirping, but he didn't go as far as what he was saying about LeBron James is old. Like, bro, of course LeBron is going to make you play terrible. Because that's LeBron James. You can't forget who the person is. It's LeBron James. You know what I mean? And y'all play the same position. Of course he's... Bro, you talk about Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Will Chamberlain, LeBron James.
Talking about Mount Rushmore.
Talking about LeBron James, bro.
Yeah.
He was a deer caught up in headlights, and he thought it was sweet, and he was talking too much, and he just got a reality check.
Too much talking, man.
Got a reality
too much
check.
talking.
But
you gotta know yourself.
But at the same time, though, Ja Morant is getting a reality check too, but his is not as bad as Dylan Brooks because he's still going crazy with the scoring. But at the same time, you trying to beat the Lakers, and you just said that you didn't have to worry about anybody in the West. So it's like, all right, Dylan Brooks is getting he's looking like more like the fool, but Morant is still a fool as well. So, but at the same time, they're a very well coached team. They have a chance of beating the Lakers.
Yeah.
Like, it's still a chance. Like, it could happen. But the Lakers probably will win this series. But as far as Reeves, though, I think he has enough heart that he can carry it on. I think what we're seeing from him is what he's going to be.
That's fair. I just feel like role players sometimes, when they go against, because I have Golden State on the pedestal. I think they've proven that at this point. They always make, like all championship teams always make, who was really hot for you not look as hot, unless it's a bona fide superstar. And even then, those bona fide superstars sometimes don't look as hot. Like you be like, oh, superstar had 25. Yeah, that looked good, but that same superstar was averaging 35 the series prior to the seeing Golden State. Right. See what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the type of stuff I'll be noticing. Like, they know how to make everybody look less than to a certain degree. Like, your shooting not gonna look as good with them. They make you pay for everything. Like, they gonna make turnovers, but when you make turnovers, they gonna come back and smack a three in your face off that turnover.
What was your thoughts on the Golden State going into the playoffs?
I thought they was wolves in sheep clothing.
Okay.
I thought the West is wide open, perfect for them.
Yeah.
They are the defending champions. They've earned the right to not be counted out. You can't count them out, man. The only time you can count them out is if somebody's for real out for the season.
Yeah.
Like, if they out for the season, alright, then. But I just don't understand how the typical basketball fan that's not a Warriors fan can look at them and be like, yeah, I can see them getting eliminated. I need to see it to believe it, because they are a well-oiled machine, bro.
Yeah, I know.
And the tighter the games, the better they play.
Yep.
And that's why they keep winning. They literally will find a way to beat you. They'll find a way to beat you, bro. And I just feel
surgeons.
Like, yeah, they surgical with it. Clay, his shot get better as the game get tighter. the game get tired. Like, he's a gamer. He's a lot like, well, he's better than, because he's been doing it longer. Not player wise, but shooting wise and duress. Mm-hmm. It's like Trae Young. Mm-hmm. Trae Young, like,
fearless.
Some guys are just gamers, bro. Like, the game is on the line. Like, they just start showing out.
That goes into, like, having a lot of heart.
Yeah.
And, like, not shying away from the moment.
Yeah.
But, yeah, having a lot of heart. Because it's like, and because you can go 0 for 10, but still want to shoot it because you can have the confidence, like, man, I'm probably going to hit this game. And that's rare. I'm going to hit this game winner.
Most guys don't have that kind of confidence level. Now, there are some guys, there's a lot of guys who have confidence, but to try to do other things to win the game. Mm-hmm. But like you just said, they can be 0 for 10 and still shoot the damn ball like they've been 4 for 5.
And that's what, separates, like, the good players from the great players, because everybody's going to fail. Like, even at life, you just got to keep it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why we're talking about guys like Jimmy Butler, because they're fearless. They have a lot of heart.
Yeah.
Guys like Trae Young, if you have that type of player on your team, you can go a long way, especially if you have a good coaching.
That's true. Very true. Very true. But that's what it takes to be the Golden State. You need a guy like a Jimmy Butler or a Trae Young. You need guys on your team that literally are not afraid of the moment. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sometimes the moments get too big depending on who they're going against. Like a guy like Kevin Huerter, for example. He needed to show out last night. Mm-hmm. He needed to get, not show out, he's not going to get 30, but he needs 15 to 17 points. Like, probably, if I look at his season average, that's probably what he was averaging for the season. Mm-hmm. Harrison Barnes, same thing. But when the pressure gets cooking, the pressure get real loud in the building, and things get real tight, and people start thinking, it's hard for a lot of people. And I'm not saying it like I can just easily go do it, but it's hard for a lot of people to just still perform at a high level.
It's hard. That's
hard as hell. Everybody's just like on you like this.
All eyes on you.
Yeah. Just
like life. When everybody's on you, it can make or it can break you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Say you got, this is a life example. Say you got a family and you the only one working and everybody looking at you like, provide. Mm-hmm. You got to go to work the next day. You tired as hell. But you got to make it to Friday and feed your family. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at you with a game down the line. They want you to win the game. You can hit these free throws or you can miss the free throws. If you miss them, you're going to lose.
That type of pressure, man, not everybody's built for it, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it like to say like in a, trivial way or mean way, but that's the thing. And that's what I see with Golden State. Like, they are built heavy metal, and they got a lot of DNA and playoff battles throughout the years. A stat just came out that the Golden State Warriors have 28 straight series where they won a road game. That's the most in NBA history. That means every time they see a team in the playoffs, they gonna get a game on your home court.
Yeah,
that's crazy, bro. I mean, because basically what they're saying is that they know they can take your crowd away from you and win that game, then take it back to their house and finish you off. That's how their DNA is. But they're gonna have to win a lot of road games because the seeding that they came into the playoffs, most of the time they're not gonna have the home court advantage, which means they're gonna have to steal a lot of road games. But if any team can pull that shit off, it's them, bro. So I don't really doubt them at all. I can see them stealing the game against the Lakers on the road. I can see them stealing the game in the conference finals on the road and then do it again in the finals and then finish somebody else. I can see it.
When you talking about Golden State, you're talking about one of the greatest teams ever to play a game in any type of league. You know what I mean? Like, the history is crazy. And one thing I've noticed about these teams like Golden State, you gotta have, shit has to happen organically to a certain extent, and you also have to go through a lot and have some failures until you get to that point. And that's why we're talking about Golden State, and that's why you feel so strong about Golden State, because shit, they deserve it. At this point, they deserve the praise. They battle tested.
For real.
Came out of war with the wounds, still victorious.
Shit, man. Kid tested, mother approved. Remember the kid cereal back in the day? Man, I swear, they are definitely like DNA personified, bro.
But also, before finishing on that, Teams like that, it's like it doesn't happen. Like that's why I say that luck. It still got to have some type of luck factor.
Yeah. There's a lot. Here's the thing. When you look at the Golden State Warriors, there's a lot of, and when you say luck, this is what I allude to when you say that. You do need to have luck to win. Mm-hmm. But overall, even if you're not winning, you got to have luck just on the ego standpoint.
Yeah, but not even luck on winning, but luck on getting a fucking Stephen Curry and a Klay Thompson. You got to have luck to get Michael Jordan. You got to be lucky to get Shaq. It's some luck.
Yeah. That's valid. But then that luck, when you talk about Golden State, that luck also goes even further where they don't have an ego with each other.
Yeah.
Like normally when guys win this long, the ego starts kicking in. Or Klay Thompson, for example. Hey, I want my money, bro. I feel like, I've done enough here. The dynasty gets cut shorter because one guy's looking for his money. One guy's listen, man, I ain't trying to do this no more. Yeah. Like the Kobe Shaq Lakers or whatever the case may be. Like things get cut like shorter because of one guy just not want to do it no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it pulls off. Or, not everybody's okay with a guy like Curry on their team getting all this accolades. Yeah. And then the other player felt like, man, I know I'm not as good as him, but damn, can I get some recognition? Yeah. Like sometimes people, the ego can kick in. Like, what you mean? Like, you should talk about me. Like Klay not making a top 75 team.
But you know what's crazy?
You see what I'm saying? He could be like, fuck this shit.
Ego, because with ego, you're shooting yourself in the foot sometimes. Yep. And I think that the Bucks had a little ego, and now they're being a little humble. Like, why wouldn't you double team Butler? Now you think that you're better than a double team? Like, you think that you don't need to do that shit. Like, your ego kind of got in the way.
That's what I'm saying. It's like slightly disrespectful. Yeah. And it's like when a guy as good as Butler, offensive guys that have the talent, when they got it going, it's really hard to stop them because they got it going now. Yeah. You could pick 10 players in the league right now. If they get one-on-one coverage for too long, you're in trouble. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are in trouble. If Curry get one-on-one coverage and he already smacked 5 threes, you in trouble, bro. Yeah. You in serious. He might go for 40 tonight. Yeah. You just basically, you're not like, now that's inexcusable for Miami. I mean, for the Bucks to not double though. That's just inexcusable. It is. Because at some point, like, this man out here with just guys. No one else on that roster is giving you these gaudy numbers, bro. Even if they try, they not.
And what happened to Bam Adebayo? Like, he
fouled out in the game.
Nah, but just like him, just overall.
I think he regressed a little bit for the season. I think he did.
Maybe it was a lot of expectations on him.
Yeah,
that he wasn't able to live to.
Yeah,
because people were talking about him like he was going to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah,
at one point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Now, a guy like Damian Lillard, they seeing him spot around different areas, watch these playoff games, and speculation in terms of like Trailblazers and Damian Lillard not like looking to do a rebuild or whatever. But if I'm Dame, I might want to go to Miami with Jimmy. I might want to do that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Keep the same colors too, red, black, and blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I could definitely see that happening.
Because like a guy like Dame. Probably like, man, I need a guy like Jimmy on my team. See that? Do whatever it take.
I can see
whatever it take to win.
That'd be smooth. That'd be real smooth.
That would be crazy.
Dame to the point where he just want to win now. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the loyalty card, and I applaud him for pulling it off as long as he has. But I feel like if the Portland Trailblazers are gonna give you some pieces, man. I mean, good Lord. And now you got to deal with more Western Conference threats. Like when he was coming up, Sacramento went in the frame. Now they're in the frame now. Clippers, even though they are very frustrating, they still technically in the frame. Mm-hmm. Unless they blow the whole thing up. So where's your Western Conference spot going to come in? That's what I'm trying to say. Where are you going to get a chance to just get in there again? Like Dallas, they might regroup next year. So when you really think about it,
you know what? Like, I feel like they shouldn't even be thinking like that, even though that's a good way to think. But I feel like you just got to make sure you're coming correct. Like, as a Blazers, like, But that's what you're alluding to, though, because you're saying they're not doing that. They're not.
Yeah, because it's too much talent. It's like when you think about it, like some team has to not be in the playoffs for you to get in there.
Yeah.
So when you really think about it, we talking about just the playoffs. We ain't even talking about the finals.
Yeah.
We're talking about just getting to the playoffs. Dallas didn't make the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. I don't see with Luka Doncic all them not making the playoffs again. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Sacramento in the next couple of years will be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Right. Clippers, I mean, when you really add it up, that's like half of teams going to be in the playoffs next year. Barring injuries, barring that stuff, right? Denver Nuggets, like, they're going to be in the playoffs.
For some reason, I look at Portland and I say, like, they could be just like Sacramento, low-key. It's just something's missing, like the energy in the locker room is not there.
They don't have the right, they don't have the right pieces. They don't have the right coach for that setup. Chauncey Billups is not a bad coach, but he ain't no Mike Brown.
That culture is culture is not there, because like they have Damian Lillard, and then you can just have a team full of defensive players, and be on the same page, but that's not happening.
That's true. But I feel like we said a lot. We covered a lot. NBA playoffs are extremely litty, extremely exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. As of the time of this podcast, Atlanta Hawks are going to be facing the Boston Celtics. Who do you got winning that game? Does Atlanta force a game 7?
No.
You say no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. Even though I feel like Boston is just so hard to read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They really have a mental lapse in games.
Yeah.
And they got DeJounte Murray back too, by the way. He just had a 1-game suspension, so he'll be back. So NSA Bulls podcast, like we talk about the Bulls, but obviously the Bulls are not in the frame. But this is still playoff basketball. We always gonna keep it locked and loaded and tell y'all what we feel and how we assess in the playoff series. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.